Customer service is tough for everyone, but how do we make it better for the employee and for the customer? My name is Helen Gibney, Softcat's Head of Architecture, and welcome back to Softcat's Explain It podcast. Every episode we're here to talk tech in simple jargon-free language. Business contact centres are starting to use AI at the very first step of their customer interactions. By automating elements of the customer service interaction and using AI insights, staff can resolve customer service incidents faster and keep customers happy. Today, we'll get into the detail of this topic with the help of our guests, Andrew Hermsen, Softcat's Chief Technologist for Data Automation and AI, and Lucky Sharma, Senior Partner Solutions Architect at AWS. So, straight into the first question, what is an AI-powered contact centre?
Well, it's a collection of things, really. An automated customer service is a theme, I suppose, over the top of them. To me, it includes chat bots, virtual assistants, and predictive analytics. How about you, Lucky?
Yeah, I think, again, for me, like you said, it's more like a holistic, I would say, landscape for my customers, where it's not just about like how we are resolving the customer problems, but actually understanding the drivers of like why they want that sort of interactions, and coming up with like more meaningful sort of responses to resolve their problem. And especially like when it comes to like AI powered contact centers, that's where we are leaning on technologies like generative AI, like core AI ML concepts, and understanding the data landscape and giving like more meaningful sort of responses to the customers rather than just going and doing another sort of service desk sort of operations.
So you're both really talking there about giving a more personalised experience to the customer so they get a better interaction with your customer service desk. But how do the different AI technologies start to fit into AI-powered contact centres? How does that build?
Well, I suppose, to take a slightly different angle to the one I started with, natural language processing for the understanding of the conversation back and forth. Then we've got machine learning for processing the data and generating those insights. And then lastly, we've got the analytics to help you look further ahead from the information that you've got. Do you think I've missed anything?
Yeah, I think you talked about all the basic elements over there. I guess one of the really another area over here is like how we are understanding the whole business, right? First of all. And then most importantly, how we are understanding the customer, right? Like customer personas, customer 360. And then doing the right BI for them and eventually engaging them in a meaningful way. And of course, like to do all these stuff, we really need various components. Like you said, you talked about machine learning, natural language processings. We also have to use BI very efficiently in terms of going and picking the right data and making like more insights, which is meaningful, and then eventually having the right engagement with the customers. So yeah, I think these are the really important components.
And Lucky, you mentioned BI quite a lot there.
Yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about what that is? What is that?
Yeah, so for me, like the contact center is a really important part of my customer experience, which is more like a journey. Right. It starts with how we are doing customer data management, how we are interacting with the customers, gathering all the data about the customers, going and integrating all the different data sources that we have, leaning on the data, and finally getting that data right in our data platform. But after that, the second stage is really important, which is more about your BI part, right? Where we really have to go and understand the various data models, what exactly business is looking for, what are the pain points that customers are having. And then accordingly, we have to do the right business intelligence and get the right data ready for the customer engagement, which is the third stage, right? Where we are going for a meaningful engagement with the customer and helping them with the pain points that they have with most accurate possible insights and informations to solve their problem.
So essentially taking all these different AI technologies, using that to really draw information about the client, the end user, the customer that you're talking to, to be able to help solve their problems and queries quicker. Where are their pain points? Where are their problems?
Yeah.
And actually that customer service desk, that customer service centre can be much more efficient, more performant to help these customers get their resolutions. I think if you're like me, that customer service desk can be frustrating for the end user, and I'm sure frustrating for the staff, right? So these technologies really help improve.
I think we have many examples, right? Like there are many apps and different customer services, which is sometimes quite frustrating. If you go and ask any specific query over there, they'll give you option 1 for this, option 2 for this.
Yeah.
And it works like in a very non-intelligent way sometimes. And we are just going into that loop again and again and not getting actual resolution out of it, which is quite frustrating. And that's where these AI technologies are really, really powerful. Something like rather than putting that number 1 for this, number 2 for this, probably we can use natural language, right? To make it easy. So that customer can come and can communicate in his own natural way, right? And once we'll understand what exactly he is asking for through the semantic of what he has just asked for, probably we should have the right mechanism of picking the right intelligence tool over there and then reaching out the right set of information for that particular customer. So that rather than asking him thousands of questions, we should be able to provide like a faster resolution over there.
Which is going to mean those customer service desks, customer service centres can help more customers. Ultimately.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's really helping the business, right? To have like a better customer satisfaction. Most importantly, over that live interaction or like a live call, should understand the sentiment of the customers so that you know the live check, right? Like whether customer is happy so far with your interaction. And what are the other areas where the agents can improve the quality of that particular ongoing conversation? So I think these are the other few examples of how we can lean on these AI and machine learning technology to make all the customer experience really better.
We've understood there how this can make customers and the company who purchases the technology better. But where do we see these contact centres being the most effective or making the most improvements? Do we see in specific sectors or specific spaces? Andy, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you. I think the verticals that spring to mind for me are retail, financial services, and manufacturing. Within retail, we've got the ability to handle high volumes, product recommendations, order inquiries. Within financial services, we've got those routine transactions that we all phone in for day after day, week after week. We've got fraud detection, which is becoming even more important and harder to spot. And we've got the personalised advice that could be given potentially in the future if regulations allowed it for a more autonomous approach. Then within manufacturing, we've got general inquiries, where is my thing in its process of being made or delivered. We've got the more automated and easy to use order tracking off the back of that, and those real-time updates. So it's all about understanding where whatever it is that the outcome you're after or the product you're after is on its journey towards you.
That's so true. Yeah, I think one of the other industry, like along with retail, financial services and manufacturing, is aviation, which is highly relying on contact center, right? So customers who really want to change their itineraries, they really don't want to wait, right, for a long queue over the call. They really need like a fast resolution over there. So I think aviation is another, I would say, industry which really highly lean on intelligent contact centers.
I think another thing to pull out there is that in all of the verticals we've spoken about, there's a multi-channel approach for us as the end user, being able to go and interact with that organisation. Another thing that these contact centres are brilliant at is being able to provide a uniform way in for me as a user.
That's the omni-channel sort of experience, right?
Yeah.
For these kind of customers,
Omni-channel, right? Talk to me about that. What does that mean? What does that look like?
Well, it's two different ways of saying the same thing, I think. Like, I just said, basically, I could be on the phone, I could be speaking to you on my phone, I could be interacting with a web page or an app potentially, I could be on a tablet and going through that, or I could be in the airport or the bank and interacting with an individual, maybe a customer service representative, who on the other side is also on my behalf interacting with something. And through all of those different channels, I have the same kind of journey, and it knows who I am. It's going to know from my name, my voice, my phone number, some sort of unique identifier that a standing order has just caused a problem with my overdraft in the bank, for example, or that I'd really need to check in because my flight's super late, or whatever it is. It's going to have that context, which at the moment with a traditional contact center is very difficult, very hard to get.
And that's where that cumbersome experience comes for the end user and the staff. And Lucky, you were talking about several options of technology and information that the staff member has to trawl through to find. So again, really improving that customer experience, both for the company who purchases these and the customer that's phoning in or dialing in or whatever is there. And with that omni-channel approach, that unified customer experience, because the information is collated and presented centrally and it understands who you are, do we see the ability to have more self-service from our customers, that when they come into the contact centre, the customer service desk, because the AI is able to recognise them from a certain point, it goes, oh, I know you've got these problems, can I help you here? Can I point you there? Do we see those kind of things coming through?
I think, Lucky, correct me if I'm wrong, but really I think here context is everything. So the more information the platform has on me, the more likely it is to be able to say, I know that you really are this person because I've identified you. I know that you've got this level of access or spending available to you without some extra level of authorization. So it allows me to go much deeper into the products and services of the company that I'm going to, in order, to get that self-service piece you were talking about, because it's got a greater grasp of that context, all based around a secure interaction.
Yeah, I think totally agree with you. So I guess the data is really key here, right? The more we have contextual data about the customer, about the business, I think we'll be able to have better proposition for these kind of self-service sort of mechanisms for the customer. So yeah, I think that's really correctly said. If we have a better data, more data, contextual data, and if we have a better data quality, then yeah, we're gonna have a better self-service mechanisms.
And then that makes me want to come back to the point we talked a little bit about fraud detection there, and being able to keep this technology secure, because if it's collecting all the information and understanding more about who it is talking to, how do we make sure that the AI is safe, the AI is secure, the information is right, all of those type of things that you get into typically with AI, especially when it's at that front end, when it's right at the customer experience?
I guess whenever you go with such kind of use cases, right, I believe the really most important bit over here is how we are doing the AI, right? Are we doing it in a very responsible way? And that's where we talk about responsible AI framework, which consists of various pillars in a form of guidance over there, right? So for such use cases, we really have to think about the transparency of the whole system. We really have to think about how consistent we have in terms of managing the data and putting the right data pipelines, right, for these kind of different applications. We also have to think about the many things like biasness, right? Are we not supporting any sort of biasness over there? Do we have the right level of guardrails in terms of protecting the systems from such fraud or such incident? So yeah, I believe we really have to lean on responsible AI framework over here in terms of having a better mechanism and better accessibility for the customers.
I think just to add to that, the application of an AI contact center means that you're not replacing your human agents, but you're freeing them up from a big chunk of the work they had to do, maybe the less interesting work.
Exactly.
So they can deal with those exceptions themselves. So if you have got something, a red flag, an exception that's gone, this potentially is fraudulent, there's a problem with the context for this user, they shouldn't be phoning from this country or whatever it is, the human can then, the person, or referring to the human, the person can then become involved in that exception case.
Exactly. And even this is more like a self-learning sort of mode. So when you go with AI, there are many different algorithms and techniques, right, that we follow. And one of them is like self-learning mode, right, where these models are learning from all these different kind of incidents and scenarios, like how to deal with it in the future, so that you are safeguarding the things. Yeah, and yeah, if it's really important to have that human sort of interventions as well for very critical sort of places where you have that human in the loop who can go and validate the stuff for a very critical sort of use cases.
So actually making sure we've got multi-layer of security, the AI can learn, develop and comply.
Yeah.
Frameworks, centre of excellences to make sure that the AI behaves in the way that we expect it to, and we're removing bias and ensuring it's ethical, but also keeping the human element. We're not getting rid of the humans, people at the contact centre. We're just lightening their load and making sure that they are the higher level of security, the more valued level of security should something need them.
Yeah. I strongly feel like we are actually enabling the agents, right, with the right set of information. So just imagine, even I was like thinking about the scenario many times in my life. So let's say if I'm calling like a contact center, right, and trying to get resolution of my problem. And sometimes I have seen like people are really pushing a lot those agents that I really want to get this done, help me out, resolve this. But just think of that agent, right? If they don't have the access to the right level of information to resolve that particular problem, then what could they do, right? It's quite a difficult kind of situation for them as well. And with these AI enabled solutions, we are actually empowering those agents. So just imagine now if the agent is using these AI enabled contact centers, they can see the sentiments of user, whether they are happy, they are not happy, what sort of situation is there from the sentiment perspective. But at the same time, AI could help them in terms of understanding what exactly they are looking for and could do certain kind of recommendation to the agent that you can talk about this stuff. This could be a potential solution. And the moment they have defined like what exactly the problem is, the driver of that particular call, they can go and access the right level of informations. So that agent should be able to articulate it back to the customer and resolve it. And at the end, they have a happy customer. So I'm most of the time I'm just thinking about the agents, right? Like we are actually empowering the agents if we are really setting the right level of features like AI enabled features for the agents. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think you're coming back around to that context piece again, aren't we? It's absolutely, it is context is king. It's the key thing here. It allows the agent and the platform to know that my mobile phone contract is coming to an end, and I'm phoning up to do that. Probably phoning up to do that with this phone call. It allows also sort of segmentation too. For my incoming request into the phone or through the website, etc. The context, the segment that I'm sat in is going to direct me to a much clearer path in the system and the platform. So data, that context for me is really important.
Exactly. And also I believe it's really important because for most of the enterprises, they do have so many repositories. Like they may have like more than thousands of files. And sometimes agents don't know, right, if they don't have like a proper data cataloging and if they don't have the right AI tool to pick the right piece of information to resolve that particular problem. So that is the another thing. Like along with that context, you need the right tool, you need the right features to go and pull the right set of data and articulate it back to the customer.
It's a tough job, right? Yeah, customer service agent.
Exactly, it is.
So as you said, Lucky, if we can enable them with the right information, the right tools, and like you said, Andy, use the AI to get the customer that's called up or text in or use social media or whatever it is to contact to the right place with all the information that the agent is enabled with, everybody's going to have a much better experience.
Absolutely.
True.
So you both talked a lot there about data, and companies who are purchasing AI-powered contact centres are not only going to want to enable their agents, their people with the right information, the right tools, they're going to want to get insights out of that data to make improvements to their business. So how do we see those AI-powered contact centres, those customer service desks, improve using AI technologies?
Yeah, so like I talk about that complete journey in the beginning, right? So I believe it's really important for any enterprise and any customer to first focus on their data strategy, their data platform, right? And depending upon like their business outcomes and what exactly they are aspiring for, they really have to define a proper kind of data, I would say, journey over there, and define the right sort of strategies beneath it, right? That's number one. And that's where in the beginning I have break down the whole journey into the 3 steps. And the first step is again leaning completely on your data, right? How to go and choose the right data sources, make a complete customer data platform, right? Do a complete customer 360. Because if you're not understanding your customer enough, you're not gonna give the right suggestions, or you're not gonna resolve the things. Like we talked about context many times, right? So yeah. So for me, the step number one is having a very clear data strategy and data platform in place. And then we can use these AI powered tools or maybe techniques in terms of making it more better, right? And then mapping it with the right sort of problems that we have. But you can't simply go and just implement AI or let's say Gen AI and resolve your customer problem. So for me, the step number one is having a better data platform, strategies, proper plan, have a complete customer CDP in place, and then enable it and then augment it with the right AI technologies over there. So that's my understanding. What do you say, Andy?
And I completely agree with you. I think in my head, I start with the insights that I feel like I need in order to delight my customer. And I work back from those insights to understand what different data sources I need around. So me as a customer, I'm a data file, and there's a bunch of different metadata applied to me. You don't want to collect everything just because you can, because that's a headache for the future. It's harder to process, more expensive to store. It's more of an issue for threat actors to get hold of, etc. So if you've had to think about those things you want to do to delight your customer, and then work back to that layer of metadata you need on my data file, you know what you want to collect, exactly. Why, how long you need to keep it for, when it's useful to run that report, and then how you can use it for that predictive analytics piece going forwards, and working out what those new insights might be that you haven't actually realized yet.
Exactly. And that's what at Amazon we call it like a working backwards from customers. Yeah. So we really have to do that working backward and have the right strategies. Yeah.
Start with the end.
Yeah.
Think about what you need and then work
exactly.
backwards. So one of the big questions from the companies that may want to purchase this technology is always going to be about reducing cost, right? We've talked about increasing customer experience, enabling the agents better, but the flip side of that is always going to be reducing cost. So is that something that can be done with AI-powered contact centers?
Yeah, I think there are many studies, right? So, and I'm just going to share like a few of the numbers. And one of the really exciting number, which is really very significant, is like with service like Amazon Connect based contact center, it could reduce like up to 60% of your call volumes, which is like a really big saving, right, for the businesses. And also we have another exciting number, which I'm really excited about, is it could reduce your 50% of time for your agents training, which is again a big investment for most of the customers. So these numbers really proves the point, right? Like with these AI powered contact center solutions, they can save a lot of dollars for the business.
I think to add to that from a cost and speed point of view is probably workflow automation. Yeah. I think, onboarding, case resolution, improve response times, for example, all of those traditionally eat up loads and loads of time. If you can, behind the scenes, as a consequence of having these technologies available to you, automate and streamline, rationalize processes, that also brings down your cost to serve or cost per case when you're dealing with something.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Exactly.
So you've almost got both sides there. You make your agents and your contact center more efficient, but then also reducing the actual initial number of contacts in the first place, because customers have better insights to their data. Comes back to some of that self-serve piece and pieces like that. So there is a lot of AI technologies on the market, right? And one of the most defined ways we're seeing AI being used at the moment is in these contact centres. Really, the numbers show that it is making things better. But can we start to integrate other technologies into contact centres, other AI technologies into contact centres to make improvements as well?
Yeah, so I guess in terms of using like other technologies along with these contact centers are really important, right? But I would say rather than directly going and exploring and experimenting other sort of technologies along with the contact centers, we have like recently enabled contact centers with so many different features. So it is really important for the businesses to go and explore the existing features. So if you just to give you an example, if you go with Amazon Connect, so we have something called lenses and wisdom. So with lenses, you will be able to understand the sentiments of a live caller. So if you're talking with a live customer, you'll be able to understand the sentiments. You'll be able to understand what sort of recommendations you have to provide to them. So there is a really strong, I would say, sort of driver predictions you can do with those kind of features. And also with the introduction of Amazon Q for Connect, which is another great generative AI capabilities within the contact centers. Now agents can go and look into their vast like enterprise pool of data and pull the right things just over the call itself. So I think that's one way of looking into how we can go and get that granular things in a proper alignment with these existing features. But you said correctly, there are other technologies and definitely depending upon the use cases, depending upon the complexity of that particular business, you can go and have like a better proposition. So one of the great proposition is like you can use contact center along with SageMaker. SageMaker is a really comprehensive AI ML service from AWS where you can go and do like AI ML or maybe generative AI from the scratch itself. So you can go with like combination of Connect plus SageMaker, or you can also go with like Connect along with Bedrock for a few of the use cases. Maybe I think I extended a lot. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, no, I really agree with your sentiment there. And I think this is, to me, it's all about the data, the interaction with the data from various different tools and positions in your business. So if you think about that information behind the contact center, what's upstream and downstream from that? Upstream, it might actually give you a more straightforward way to remain GDPR and ISO 27001 compliant. And downstream, it might help you spot trends to do a better, more complete marketing exercise. But ultimately, having that information stored in the right way, in the right place with the right level of access gives you that ability to do something with it now, in the future, etc.
If we see companies who want to purchase this technology, take advantage of an AI-powered contact centre, where would you suggest they start?
Well, come and have a chat with someone like us, probably.
Exactly.
You don't have to start with the big multi-channel solution. You can start small with a particular customer segment in a particular place, accessing your call center in a particular way. Do that as your proof of concept, as your pilot, to help you understand how the technology works, what the art of the possible is, the fact that you can then generate return on investment, and you can then start to see where else you might be able to apply it. I think that's a great way to start. And then leaning into people like ourselves and AWS for that best practice. Other people have tried this and it's not worked. Other people have tried this and it's worked really well. Here is how you go and do something really quickly. You might want to pause and have a bit of a think about this around your compliance, for example. What do you think, Lucky?
Yeah, I think the best way is, first of all, understand like what exactly business want to achieve, right? So they, first of all, should go and do a proper due diligence workshop and understand the specific use case over there, right? What exactly you really want to solve with this problem, this particular solution. And then I believe, like Andy said, it's really important to go and then work with experienced partners, right? And learn from their experiences, and then get the right data sources onboarded and start building your complete solution over there. But for me, I believe the step number one is to understand what exactly business are really going to achieve, right? What they are looking for. And most importantly, which particular persona you are targeting, right? Is it like an internal sort of contact center, or is it like an external contact center? If it is external, who is your customer? Try to get the right set of information for the customer. Yep.
I think you touched on something really useful there, and actually it applies across all data, automation and AI products, is don't try to go and solve something new. Yep. We've all got plenty of problems we need to get around and deal with at the moment.
Yeah.
Choose something that you think can help you show your business the realization of value from implementing some of these technologies. It's going to be much easier for them to understand if they can, because they know that problem already. They feel it. It's painful to them.
That's true. Yeah, that's why I think it's really important to have that sort of workshop, like a due diligence workshop, where you should go and first of all identify the use case. And the most important challenge is like identifying the use cases is sometimes really quite easy, right? Because when you sit with a business, definitely they're going to talk about how they are working, what are the problems they have. So eventually you will identify the use case. But the bigger problem is like how you're going to prioritize your use cases, which is really, really critical, right, for the success. And that's where you have to go and understand the impact of those use cases and see like how exactly it is contributing to your business. So yeah.
So really the right use case with the right business impact.
Exactly.
Pick a problem you've already got, which is going to show the company who's bought one of these AI-powered contact centers.
Exactly. Just to mention, because I just remember about one thing which is really exciting. So I don't know if you heard Warner Vogel during the last year reInvent. So he talked about something called frugal architect, where he talked about different kind of laws. And one of the laws says like company last, who follows the money, right? So the architecture lasts if it's following the money. So if your technical architecture is not following the money, then it's not going to last, right? And that's what exactly we have to do while prioritizing your use cases. You really have to understand the business completely, and you have to see like where exactly the money is, right? How exactly your business is making revenue and minimizing the cost. So you really have to go and find that dimension of the money, which is really going to help you to prioritize your use case and then start with your first, like you said, contact center solution.
Definitely. I love that. Follow the money, and that will make sure your AI-powered contact centers work the best that they can. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a really, really good subject there, really interesting, and hopefully it's got people thinking about what they could do with the technology to follow the money. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
So if you at home want to listen to more episodes from this season, we'll be releasing them on the last Tuesday of every month. Alternatively, you can stream or download all episodes from every season on your preferred platform. We'll be back next month with another topic to talk tech in simple jargon-free language. Thank you for listening to Explain It.